I just tell this quick story, do it this way so other people can get it. That thing that you just said about um, somebody else is really great or doing really great or doing something perfectly or whatever, and then that thing like, well, I don't deserve to teach or I can't teach or I'm
Yeah,
not that good, and that kind
yeah,
of the diminishment of the self,
yes,
as if it's a balance scale when you look at somebody that is great, doing great, or created a great thing or a great experience or whatever, as if like the only way they go up is if I go down,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
which is not necessary,
yeah,
right? But I remember that when my teacher told me I can teach, like I was like, "What? Thanks." Something like, I don't know how he said it. Um, but then, like, my first question wasn't like, "When do I get started?" or "Do you need to sign a form?" or any advice. It was just like, "Oh, you obviously meant somebody else."
yeah,
Like that can't be right.
yeah,
As opposed to every other lesson with my teacher for years and years and years, everything he said to me, I was like, "Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, sir. You're right. Of course." And then I do, and then all of a sudden, he says this, and my first assumption is that, oh, you can't really mean it. That
yeah,
can't be right.
yeah,
And he said to me, he said, "Look, if you're on the path, however far along you are on the path, right? And of course, I'm imagining it's a pretty endless path, right? But however far along you are on the path, so you could be 3 steps onto the path, right? So I picture like a hiking trail out in the desert or something. If you turn around and anybody's there, you can help them.
mm,
And if it's somebody just getting on the path, you're like, hey, you're doing good. Make sure you bring your umbrella. It's very sunny. Or I watched that first rock I tripped on.
mm,
But we often have this sense of only if I'm at the very end can I
mm,
help. But maybe at the very end, it's harder to help the people at the beginning
mm,
because you're literally at a remove
mm,
and you've forgotten the rock
mm,
or you've forgotten what their particular worries are, right? So as long as you turn around and there's anybody at all on the path,
mm,
you can help them.
mm,
Turns out for me, there's always been somebody behind me.
mm,
And of course, also I keep studying, so maybe I move further on the path. So it's a higher likelihood people are behind me. But also, it doesn't matter if people pass you, because the question is still the same.
mm.
Hey, I helped you, and now you're ahead of me. I have somebody that can help me,
Yeah,
right? That can help me across this fjord. That can help me, get through this the thorny part, or help me figure out which left or right or something.
yeah,
But also, I look over my shoulder. If there's anybody there,
yeah,
and if not, I keep walking on the
yeah,
path.
yeah,
Maybe I pass somebody, maybe somebody shows up behind, whatever. But the question is only if there's anybody behind you, you help them to the extent that you can help them.
mm,
It doesn't mean you can always and forever help them as a Godhead that knows everything.
mm,
But maybe it's just one thing and then they go past you and that's it.
mm.
Right? So